शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Namaskaram. Welcome to the 44th session of Narayaneeyam, highlighting the birth of Vāmana as detailed by Bhattadri in Dasakam 30. In the last three Dasakams, 27, 28 and 29, we saw a fair account of Amrita Mantana, highlighting Bhagavan's incarnation as Kurma, the giant tortoise, Lord Parameshwara absorbing the Kalakuta or Halahala, becoming Nilakanta, Mahalakshmi marrying Lord Vishnu, incarnation of Dhanvantri, emergence of Mohini, the Vishnu Maya, and finally Harihara Sutta Mahatmyam, rather extensively in one whole session. Questions came from three devotees about the word Mantana and whether it should be Matana as the appropriate term to describe the churning. Here is what I think could have been the reasons for using the word Mantana, not only in normal parlance in the last 600-700 years, but also in several scriptures. Matana, as originally seen in our ancient writings and also in Buddhist literature, was to denote making fire by friction or churning, as in chapter 32 of Mahaprajna Shastram, and later extended to explain the separation of enmity from love. And incidentally, this Mahaprajna Shastra is a 2nd century literature well regarded by people who follow Mahayana sect of Buddhism. But the same term Matana used in Hatha Yoga and Yoga followers as per Jog Pradipika connotes Sarvamangala Shodhanartham, to cleanse away all impurity. But over the centuries, the term is used to highlight churning or stirring up. Amrita Mantana, extensively used by dancers since the times of Natya Shastra of Bharata, almost 2000 years hence, refers to the churning of the ocean. It is the name of the first dramatic performance of the Samavakara type, composed by Brahma for the welfare of humankind. Describing Tandavam, Bharata Muni says in Natya Shastra, in the 3rd verse of chapter 4, I have composed this Samavakara, which is conducive to the performance of duties, namely Dharma, to the earning of wealth, namely Artha, to the fulfillment of desire, namely Kama, as well as explained by Brahma to me as to the great Amrita Mantana. This is how Natya Shastra refers to the churning. Therefore, Matana is the general action of churning, while Amrita Mantana refers to the specific significant mythological event of churning the ocean to obtain the Amrita. Let us now get on with Vāmana-avatārā as described by Sukha in Srimad Bhagavatam and by Bhattadari. Bhagavan incarnated as Vāmana to accomplish three significant tasks. First, to fulfill the desire of the ever-praying Aditi, mother of the Devas, namely gods. Second, to restore the empire of heaven to the oppressed Devas who went hiding. And the third, to bestow final grace or supreme blessedness on the Daitya emperor Mahabali after destroying his pride of prosperity, but blessing him nevertheless, because he happened to be the grandson of Prahlada and was also equally an embodiment of virtue. The author starts with a narration of the greatness of Mahabali. As always, Bhattadari follows Sukha's footsteps, albeit his descriptions in Narayaneeyam are noticeably short. To understand such differences in approach, we need to frequently refer to Srimad Bhagavatam and Sukha's descriptions to fill in the gaps. The story of incarnation of Vāmana is described in Bhagavatam Canto 8, chapters 15 to 23. Sukha starts with Parikshit's question, which many of the ordinary, mundane mortals like me may have when we read the Purānās. Maharaja Parikshit asks Sukha Brahman, Bale padatrayam bhumehe kasmat harihi ayachata bhuteshwara kripanavat labdharto vibhavandatam etat veditum ichchamo magat kautugalam hinaha yajneshwarasya purnasya bandhano chapi anagasaha yajneshwarasya purnasya bandhanam chapi anagasaha. Balehe padatrayam bhumehe kasmat harihi ayachata bhuteshwara kripanavat labdhartopi bhavandama etat veditum ichchamo mahat kautugalam hinaha yajneshwarasya purnasya bandhanam chapi anagasaha. The Supreme Brahman is the creator, proprietor, owner of everything. Why did he end up begging 3 paces of land from Maharaja Bali like a poor beggar? And when he got that gift as asked exactly, why did he nonetheless arrest Bali Maharaja and punish him? I am very anxious to know the mystery of these glaring contradictions, O Sukha Muni. This is how Parikshit begins the questions. Sukha gives elaborate answers in 34 slokams as to how Bali was restored to life by his Acharya Sukracharya, how Bali was able to increase his prowess and become unconquerable, driving away all the Devas who went hiding under the advice of Devaguru Brihaspati. Let us now see how Bhattadari summarizes all of that from chapter 15 into one slokam. Shakrena soyati hatopi balim mahatma Shakrena samyati hatopi balim mahatma Shukrena jivita tanu kradu vardhitoshma Vikrantiman bhayanilina suram trilokim Vikrantiman Payanilina suram trilokim Chakre vasesa tava chakramuga gavita Vikrantiman Payanilina suram trilokim Chakre vasesa tava chakramuga gavita. Shakrena samyati hatopi balir mahatma Shukrena jivita tanuhu kratu vardhitoshma Vikrantiman bhayanilina suram trilokim Chakre vasesa tava chakramukad abhitaha. The great Asura king Bali was killed by Indra in the battle that followed the distribution of nectar exclusively to the Devas by Mohini. As soon as the war was stopped by you, O Bhagavane Guruvayurappa, as requested by sage Narada, the Asuras who survived the battle after the Amrita Mantana took away the dead body of their king to the Astamana mountain, mentioned in some Purānās as Astagiri, the mythical mountain where sun sets reportedly. You may all have come to know of a term, Astamana, namely sunset. The mountain where the mythical belief that sun sets is Astamana mountain. There, Bali was restored to life by Sukracharya, the preceptor of the Daityas. Moreover, Sukracharya conducted the sacrifice known as Vishwajit, which enhanced Bali's prowess and splendor. From that sacrificial fire arose a chariot covered in gold, drawn by horses, having the same color green as that of Indra's horses. An ethereal bow plated with gold, and a pair of quivers with an inexhaustible stock of arrows. All of these enhanced Mahabali's prowess to such a level that he became unconquerable by anyone and in any world. Oh Bhagavani, he was not even afraid of your discus Sudarshana, which of course is capable of destroying all asuras and all enemies of your devotees, namely the Devas. Is this because of your promise to Bali's grandfather and your great devotee Prahlada that you committed not to kill anyone in the lineage of Prahlada? What is the background and which Purana mentions that Bhagavan gave such a commitment to Prahlada? Let us see that now. Chapter 63 of Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam describes Krishna's battle with Bānasura and how Krishna blessed him in the end, thanks to Lord Shiva's request to Krishna. Bānasura, or simply Bāna, refers to the son of Bali and grandson of Virochana, according to the genealogical description mentioned in Saura Purana, one of the various Upapuranas. As per the description contained therein, Prahlada ascended the throne after Hiranyakashipu. Prahlada's son Virochana was killed by Vishnu because of his misdeeds, and Virochana's son Mahabali became the emperor, Mahabali Chakravarti. Since he was pious and virtuous, he was bound to Patala by Vishnu during Vāmana-avatārā. Bānasura was the son of Bali and a great devotee of Lord Shiva, who gave Bānasura the status of the leader of a Gana. The sons of Bāna were Tara, Sambara, Kapila, Shankara, Swarbhanu, and Vrishaparvan. This is the summary of lineage of Prahlada. Ayam mameto daitonuvarti maya bhayam dattam amushyadeva sampadyatam tat bhavata prasado yatahite daityapato prasadaha sampadyatam tat bhavanaha prasado yatahite Daityapato prasadaha Daityapato prasadaha. Ayam mameshto daitonuvarti mayabhayam dattam amushya deva sampadyatam tad bhavata prasado yatahitai daityapadau prasadaha. This Bānasura is my very dear and faithful follower, and I have already awarded him the freedom from fear. Therefore, Bhagavane Vishnu, please grant him your mercy, just as you showed mercy to Prahlada, the lord of the demons. Kindly show mercy to his great-great-grandson here. Yada hatta bhagavam stam nakkaravama priyam tava Yada hatta bhagavam stam nakkaravama priyam tava Bhavato yadhyavasitam tanme sadvanumoditam Bhavato yadhyavasitam tanme sadvanumoditam Avatyoyam mamapesha vairocani suto navadyoyam mamapesha vairocani sutosuraga prahlādāya varodhatto navadyo me tavanvayaha prahlādāya varodhatto navadyo me tavanvayaha. Krishna then answered Mahadeva, Lord Shambhu, Yadatta Bhagavam Swam Naha Karavama Priyam Tava Bhavato Yad Vyavasitam Tanme Sadvanumoditam Avadyoyam Mamapyesha Vairochani Sutosuraha Prahlādāya Varodhatto Navadyo Me Tavan Vayaha. O dear Lord Shambhu, for your pleasure, we must certainly do what you have requested of us. I fully agree with your conclusion and listen to your request. I know that Banasura is a grandson of Virochana, Prahlada's son. I cannot kill him inasmuch as a boon has been granted by me to Prahlada, that no one born in that lineage would be killed by me. Please do not worry about Banasura, because I don't intend to kill him since he happens to be in the lineage of Prahlada. This is the background that we started with, why Mahabali was not killed, but Bhagavan gave him anugraham in a different manner. When Bali started to conquer all the worlds with his hordes of asuras, Indra and the other devas had to flee in fear, abandoning heaven before the victorious Mahabali entered. Thus he became the head of all the three worlds. Putrarthi darshana vasad tadhitir vishannatam kashyapam nijapatim sharanam prapanna tvatpujanam taduditam hipayo vratakyam sadvadasagam acharadvai bhakti purna sadvadasagam acharadvai bhakti purna. Putrati darshana vasad aditir vishannatham kashyapam nijapatim sharanam prapannat tvatpujanam taduditam hi payovratakyam sadvadasaham acharadvai bhakti purna. Bhagavane, Indra and the other devas had to leave heaven and hide themselves fearing the Asura emperor Bali. Seeing the mental agony of her sons, Aditi approached her husband sage Kashyapa with great anguish. Realizing that only your divine grace could redeem her from her plight, Kashyapa advised her to observe the austerity or holy vratam known as Payovrata, which had been revealed to him by Brahma earlier. As advised, Aditi observed without any break the sacred vow for 12 days with great devotion. The Lord was born to Aditi in his incarnations as Vāmana because of the greatness of his vow. As this vow is considered to be of utility to those who have not been blessed with a child, details of the Payovrata observance are given in Srimad Bhagavatam in slokas 29 to 37 of chapter 16 in Canto 8. At the conclusion of the Payovrata, the Lord appeared before Aditi and bestowed a boon on her. Tasyavadau tvayini namate amushyaga Tasyavadau tvayini namate amushyaga Shamo Chaturbhujavapugu Swayam Avirasi Shamo Chaturbhujavapugu Swayam Avirasi Nambram Chatamigat Bhavattanayo Bhaveyam Gopyo Madikshanamiti Pralapannayasi Gopyam Madikshanamiti Pralapannayasi. Tasyavadau tvai nilina matehe amushyaha Chamo Chaturbhuja vapuhu Swayam avirasihi Namram cha tamiga bhavattanayo bhaveyam Gopyam Madikshanam iti pralapan ayasihi. Greatly pleased with Aditi on her complete fulfillment of the vow, Bhagavane, you appeared before her with your dark blue body and 4 arms and wearing yellow robes. When she saw you in that form, who were always present in her mind, manifesting before her, Aditi was so delighted and did not know what to do. The mother of the Devas protested before you and started praising you. Then you told her, I will incarnate as your son and remove all your worries. Do not worry. Let not anybody know the fact that I appeared before you. Let it be our secret. Saying that, you vanished from her presence. Tvam Kashyape tapasi sannidhadattadanim Tvam Kashyape tapasi sannidhadattadanim Praptosi garbhamaditege pranuto vidatra Prasuta prakata vaishnava divya rupam Sadvadasi savana punya dine bhavantam Prasuta prakata vaishnava divya rupam Sadvadasi savana punya dine bhavantam. Tvam Kashyape tapasi sannidhadattadanim praptosi garbhamaditehe pranuto vidatra prasutacha prakata vaishnava divya rupam sadhvadasi shavana punyadine bhavantam. Bhagavane, delighted at your rare boon, Aditi waited upon her husband with supreme devotion. At that time, sage Kashyapa was engaged in a severe penance. You, Guruvayurappa, entered Kashyapa's body with part of your splendor. By the power of concentration, sage Kashyapa actually perceived a part of Sri Hari having entered his mind. The sage then transferred in Aditi his energy, long conserved through asceticism. Thus you entered the womb of Aditi. Coming to know of this, Brahma praised you with divine hymns. You were at the proper time delivered with evident marks of Vishnu's glory at the auspicious time of the confluence of Shukla Dwadasi, the 12th day of the bright fortnight, and asterism Shravana, and at an hour known by the name Abhijit, which is conducive to victory on all sides. You manifested in your own divine form of Vishnu with 4 arms, bearing conch, mace, lotus, and discus, clad in yellow linen, with alligator-shaped earrings, crown, and charming pair of anklets, and adorned with the mark of Shivatsa, a splendid garland of sylvan flowers, and the celebrated Kaustubha gem. Vāmana Jayanti is celebrated on the 12th day of the bright fortnight after mid-August. This day and the asterism of Shravana coincide. The day on which the Lord took birth is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shlokas 5 and 6 of chapter 18. Shronayam Sravana Dvadasyam Muhurte Shronayam Sravana Dvadasyam Muhurte Abhijiti Prabhu Sarve Nakshatra Taradhyaha Chakruta Janma Dakshino Dvadasyam Savita Dittat Madhyandina Gato Nrupa Vijayanamasa Proktayasyam Janma Viduhu Hare. Shronayam Shavana Dvadasyam Muhurtehe Abhijiti Prabhu Sarve Nakshatra Taradhyaha Chakrusta Janma Dakshinam Dvadasyam Savita Atishtat Madhyandhanagato Nrupa Vijaya Namasa Prokta Yasyam Janma Viduhu Harehe. On the day of Shravana Dvadasi, the 12th day of the bright fortnight in the month of Bhadra, when the moon came into the lunar mansion Shravana, at the auspicious moment of Abhijit, Bhagavan appeared in this universe. Considering the Lord's appearance as very auspicious, all the stars and planets from the sun to Saturn were munificently charitable. O King, when the Lord appeared on Dvadasi, the 12th day of the moon, the sun was at the meridian, as every learned scholar knows. This Dwadasi is known as Vijaya or Vijaya Dwadasi. Punyasramam tamabhivarshati pushpavarshayi ashrakule turagane kritaturya ghoshe Punyasramam tamabhivarshati pushpavarshayi ashrakule turagane kritaturya ghoshe Badvanjalim jaya jayeti nutapitrubhyam Tvam takshane padutamam vadurupamadaha Badvanjalim jaya jayeti nutapitrubhyam Tvam takshane padutamam vadurupamadaha Vadurupam adaha Punyashramam tamabhivarshati pushpavarshehi harshakule suragane kritaturya ghoshe badvanjalim jaya jayeti nutap pitrubhyam tvam takshane patutamam vaturupamadaha. Bhagavan and the Devas rejoice as you, their merciful Lord, incarnated to destroy all their sorrows. They showered celestial flowers on and around the hermitage of sage, which was made holier by your manifestation. They beat their kettle drums and sounded conches. The Apsaras danced and the Gandharvas sang. Your parents Aditi and Kashyapa folded their hands in salutation and praise. May you be victorious. Instantly you assumed the form of a small Brahmana boy of very short stature, Vāmana, eminently suited to fulfill the wishes of your devotees, namely the Devas. By doing so, you conceal the evident signs of the divine form of Vishnu. And for the ordinary eyes, you just look like a shorty. Why did the Lord assume the form of a brahmachari? Paramatma thought, the Emperor Bali is extremely virtuous, truthful, and born in the race of my fondest devotee Prahlada, to whom I have promised that none of his lineage would ever meet with death at my hands. Therefore, it will not be appropriate to go to him for a fight fully armed with divine weapons. He should be evaluated for his steadfastness and should be blessed after revealing my greatness. In the process, the wishes of the Devas can also be easily accomplished. For this, the form of a Brahmana boy is best suited. Thinking so, Bhagavan assumed the form of a brahmachari. Tavat prajapati mukaihi upaniyamonji dandajinaksha valayadivihi archamanaha Tavat prajapati mukaihi upaniyamonji dandajina aksha valayadivihi archamanaha Dedipyamanavu Dedipyamanavu Isha Dedipyamanavu Isha Krita Agni Karyaha Tatum Pratita Baligrigam Prakritashvamedam Baligrigam Prakritashvamedam Prakrita Ashvamedam Tavat Prajapati Mukaihi Upaniyamonji Dandajina Aksha Valayadibihi Archamanaha Dedibhyamana Vapuhu He Isha Krita Agni Karyaha Tattum Prastitaha Baligriham Prakrita Ashvamedam. O Bhagavane, the source of all auspiciousness is you. What is impossible for you? Please tell me. When you assume the form of a dwarfish Brahmana boy, sages led by Kashyapa performed with the due ceremonies all the sacred rites prescribed for observance from birth to investiture of sacred thread, Upanyasam. Then they adorned you with all emblems like girdle, deerskin, staff, beads, etc., which are normally presented to a brahmacharin during the thread ceremony and honored you. This is described in Bhagavatam exquisitely by Shukatu Parikshit. And let us see some of the slokas. तस्योपनीयमानस्य सावित्रीं सविता ब्रवीत् तस्योपनीयमानस्य सावित्रीं सविता ब्रवीत् बृहस्पतिः ब्रह्मसूत्रं मेखलां कश्यपो ददात् तस्योपनीयमानस्य सावित्रीं सविता ब्रवीत् बृहस्पतिः ब्रह्मसूत्रं मेखलां कश्यपो ददात्. तस्योपनीयमानस्य सावित्रीं सविता ब्रवीत् बृहस्पतिः ब्रह्मसूत्रं मेखलां कश्यपो ददात्. On being invested with a sacred thread, the sun god taught you the Gayatri mantra. The sage Brihaspati gave you the sacred thread. Sage Kashyapa, a sacred cord made of maunji grass or munja grass to wear around your waist, namely Mekhala. Dado Krishna jinam bhumihi dandam somo vanaspatihi. Dado Krishna jinam bhumihi dandam somo vanaspatihi. Dandam somo vanaspatihi. Kaupinachadanam mata yaushchatram jagatapate. Kaupinachadanam mata yaushchatram jagatapate. Jagatapate. Dadau Krishnajinam bhumihi dandam somo vanaspatihi. Kaupinachadanam mata yaushchatram jagatapate. Goddess earth, a deer skin. The moon god, the sacred staff or a stick from the palasha tree. Your mother gave thee a strip of cloth called kaupina to cover your private parts, that's a loin cloth. The deity presiding over the sky gave you an umbrella. Kamandulam Veda Darbaha, Kamandulam Veda Darbaha, Kushan Saptarshayo Dadugu, Akshamalam Maharaja, Saraswati Avyayatmanaga, Akshamalam Maharaja, Saraswati Avyayatmanaga, Akshamalam Maharaja, Saraswati Avyayatmanaga. Kamandalum Vedagarbhaha Kushan Saptarshayo Daduhu Akshamalam Maharaja Saraswati Avyayatmanaha. Brahma gave a kamandalu, a wooden vessel to carry water. Saptarishi, the great 7 sages, gave blades of kusha grass. Goddess Saraswati gave a rosary of aksha seeds, namely rudraksha. Tasmai iti upanitaya yaksharat patrika madhat bhiksham bhagavati saksha uma adhat ambika sati. Tasmai iti upanitaya yaksharat patrika madhat bhiksham bhagavati sakshat uma adat ambika sati. Uma adat ambika sati. Tasmai iti upanitaya yaksharat patrikam adat bhiksham bhagavati sakshat uma adat ambika sati. Kubera, the lord of yakshas, a small vessel for receiving bhiksha, ritualistic alms. And all virtuous goddess Uma, the mother of the universe, gave the bhiksha. Bhiksha refers to alms according to Shiva Purana here. And bhiksha also refers to one who begs according to the Kubjika Amata Tantra. Upanayana, or the sacred thread invested ceremony, is the ritual which marks the beginning of the student life of Dvija, otherwise known as twice born, an epithet common to the first 3 divisions in society, according to the ancient classification based on the professions or varnashrama followed then. Although the professions followed have become somewhat redundant in the modern way of life, the rituals associated with the system have come to stay as a matter of ongoing or continuing tradition. Upanayana is the most important of the 16 main samskaras or purificatory rites the soul is made to undergo from the time of conception in mother's womb to the end of its life. This sacred thread ceremony, which is performed at the age of 6 for a Brahmana boy, marks a boy's initiation to the study of the scriptures, starting with the Gayatri mantra. A Brahmacharian is one who has undertaken the vow of celibacy. Brahmacharya is the stage of life as a student. Brahmacharian is enjoined to receive his food known as bhiksha from the mothers of a number of families of austere and qualified brahmanas. In accordance with the vow of celibacy, the brahmachari has to subsist only on food offered to him, namely by bhiksha. He receives his very first bhiksha immediately upon initiation from an elderly and respectable female relative, with her husband being present by her side, preferably one's own mother. Giving bhiksha to a brahmacharian is considered to be a very sacred and honorable act, especially during the Upanayana ceremony. During the ceremony, the brahmacharian is presented with a girdle, staff, deerskin, a garland of rosaries, namely beads, and a pot known as kamandalu. Thus honored and consecrated with Vedic rites by all those who have assembled in the hermitage of sage Kashyapa, you, in the form of that most worthy brahmacharian, outshined the hosts of Brahmana sages by your own Brahminical splendor. After performing the rites connected with the sacred fire, namely Samidhadanam, and in your resplendent brahmachari form, you proceeded to the place where Emperor Bali was performing the great sacrifice known as Ashwamedha, otherwise known as horse sacrifice. Samidhadanam, a nitya karma or everyday ritual of the brahmacharian, offering oblations of samid, which means twigs of the palasa tree are known as samid, with the recitation of Vedic hymns to Agni with prayers for bestowal of health, energy, intellect, prosperity, etc., most essential for achieving brilliance in pursuit of knowledge. Samid means wood. Adhanam means placing. Samidhadanam is placing of wooden sticks called samid in the sacrificial fire Agni. Samid sticks must be preferably those of the palasa, alias purasa, flame of the forest, kinshuka, dhak, also known as bota, fronda tree. Otherwise, they can be those of the ashwata or arasam, also known as people, sacred fig, ficus religiosa tree. It is a prayer to Lord Agni offered by brahmacharians in the morning and evening twilight, Samidhadana Nitya Karma. The boy offers 12 samid sticks into Agni, accompanied by mantras. Both Surya and Agni are an integral part of a brahmacharian's life. In Vishnu Purana, Brahmachari Varnanam, chapter 3, Adhyaya 9, in verse 9, sage Aurva expounds like this. Ube sandhe ravim bhupa tataivagnim samahitaha upatishte tada kuryat guropi abhivadanam. A bachelor should with devotion pray to Surya and Agni during both the Sandhya Kalas and also do abhivadana to his guru. Gatrena bhavi mahimochita gauravam prajya vrunvati ivadaranim chalayan ayasihi gatrena bhavi mahimochita gauravam prajya vrunvati ivadaranim chalayan ayasihi Chatram paroshmati ranartamivadadanaga dandam cha danavajaneshviva sannidhato dandam cha दानभजने श्रीव सन्निधातुम् गात्रेण भावि महिमोचित गौरवं प्राक् व्यावृण्वती इव धरणीं चलयन् अयासीः छत्रं परोष्मति ऋणार्थम् इव आदधानः दण्डं च दानवजनेष्विव सन्निधातुम्. Bhagavan, you were to assume a huge form big enough to measure the three worlds in 2 steps, as though to clearly indicate the massiveness of that gigantic form in advance. Every step of yours caused tremors on earth as you marched toward the sacrificial hall. You held an umbrella as if to ward off the heat of the aggressiveness of your enemies. You marched carrying a staff, a palasa stick, in your hand, as though to thrash the asuras with it. By the above metaphors, Bhattadri highlights the greatness of Bhagavan and how insignificant the asuras were compared to the omnipotent and omniscient Lord. Tam Narmadottarade Ayamedashalam Ase Dushitwairuja Tavaruddhanetraihi Bhasvan Kimesha Daganonu Yogi Sanat Kumaro Nukoyam Idi Shukra Pramugai Shashanke Sanat Kumaro Nukoyam Idi Shukramukaihi Shashanke Shukramukaihi Shashanke. Tam Narmadottara Tate Haimeda Shalam Ase Dushitwairucha Tavaruddha Netrehi Baswan Kimesha Dahanon Yogi Sanat Kumaro Nukoyam Idi Shukra Mukaihi Shashanke. Bhagavane, the Emperor Bali was conducting the great horse sacrifice in a specially erected sacrificial hall called Bhrugukacha on the northern bank of river Narmada. Even as you were nearing the hall, the priests conducting the sacrifice, including sage Shukra, were blinded by your resplendent Brahminical brilliance. They could not look at you properly and they started wondering, speculating and debating within themselves. Whoever could this be? Is he the sun god? Cannot be, as the sun is not seen walking on earth. Perhaps is he the god of fire? That too cannot be, as the flames of fire go only upwards. The brilliance that we see is not similar to that of the sun god or the god of fire. This is the supreme brilliance of a Brahmana. Therefore, could he be the supreme ascetic Sanat Kumara, foremost among the ever celibate sons of Brahma? That too is not right. How can he who is ever engaged in meticulously abstaining from worldly acts be here in this hall where a sacrifice is being conducted for gaining worldly objects as gifts? Usually the great ascetic brilliance is serene, but the splendor of this Brahmana Bhai which we see is not of that kind. This is far more brilliant than that of the sun or fire. Whoever can this be with extraordinarily divine brilliance, the like of which we have never seen nor heard of? They were wonderstruck and beset with all such doubts. Anitamasu Bhrugubihi Mahasa Vibhutaihi Swam Ramya Rupam Asurapulaka Vridangaha Anitam Asu Bhrugubihi Mahasa Vibhutaihi Swam Ramya Rupam Asuraga Pulaga Vridangaha Upanyasam Sukruti Parinijyadato Upanyasam Sukruti Parinijyapado Tatoyam Anvadrutamudani Tatoyam Anvadrutamudani Tirtha Tirtham Anvadrutamudani Tirtha Tirtham. Anitamasu Bhrugubihi Mahasabhibhutaihi Swam Ramya Rupam Asuraha Pulakavritangaha Bhaktya Sametya Sukruti Parinijya Padau Tattoyam Anvadrita Murdani Tirtha Tirtham. The sages in the lineage of the celebrated sage Bhrigu and others headed by Sukracharya, who were conducting the sacrifice of the priests of Bali, were completely eclipsed by your splendor as a lamp before the sun. They hurriedly rose from their seats, welcomed you, and led you in the presence of their emperor. Bali was instantly overjoyed seeing your beautiful diminutive form, and his body was covered with horripilation. He approached you with rapturous devotion, and he welcomed you by offering a seat. Then reverentially he washed your lotus feet and sprinkled the water from your feet on his own head. That water which had become holier than the holiest of waters because of the very contact of your feet. To show that Mahabali got this opportunity to sprinkle his head with the holiest of holy waters, Bhattadri specially qualifies the word as Sukriti in this slokam, meaning one of the meritorious deeds. Prahlādavamsajadaya kratubirvijeshu Prahlādavamsajadaya kratubirvijeshu Vishvāsatonutadidam ditijo bileve Yatte padambugirisasya Yatte padambugirisasya shirovilalyam Sattam vibo guru purānaya palayetaha Sattam vibo guru purānaya palayetaha Guru purānaya palayetaha Prahlāda vamsajataya kritubihi dvijeshu vishvāsatonu tadidam ditijopi lebe yatte padambu girishasya shirobilalyam sattvam vivo gurupurālaya palayetaha. O Guruvayurappa, the fact that Lord Shiva ever indulges, giving a permanent abode on his head to goddess Ganga, the deity of the river flowing from your feet reveals the greatness and sacredness of that water. You incarnated in the form of a dwarfish boy Vāmana, grew to a gigantic form and raised 1 foot to measure the celestial worlds in 1 step. When that foot reached Satyaloka, the abode of Brahma, he worshipped it by bathing in it with water from his water part Kamandalu. That water emerged as the sacred celestial river Swarganga, holy in all the 3 worlds. Later on, Lord Shiva received the Ganga on his locks to fulfill the prayer of his great devotee Bhagirath. Thus, the water that washed your feet was holy enough even for Lord Shiva to adorn on his head by giving a permanent abode to his goddess Ganga. Yatpada seva abhiruchihi tapasvinam asesha janmopachitam malam diyaha Sadyakshinoti anvahamedati sati yata pada anguštavini sruta-sarit yata pada anguštavini sruta-sarit. Yat padaseva abhiruchihi tapasvinam asesha janmopachitam malam diyaha sadyaha akshinoti anvakamedati sati yatapada anguštavinihi suta sarit. By the incarnation to serve the lotus feet of Supreme Brahman, suffering humanity can immediately cleanse the dirt which has accumulated in their minds during innumerable births. Like the Ganges water which emerges from the toes of the lotus feet of Bhagavan, such a process immediately cleanses the mind, and thus spiritual or Krishna Smaranam gradually increases in oneself. We have heard the very famous Subhashitam, Akala Mrityuharanam Sarvavyadi Vinashanam Samasta Papakshayakaram Vishnu Padodakam Shubham. This is from Hari-Bhakti Vilasa, 290th sloka from chapter 3 from Gautamiya Tantra, recollected from my old collegiate days. This sacred water flowing from the feet of Bhagavan Vishnu is one which wards off premature death, destroys all diseases, and mitigates all sins. Such are the words with which this water is being extolled by devotees. Therefore, how could Mahabali, the emperor of Asuras, who by nature are embodiments of Tamoguna, ignorant and opposed to Bhagavan, become so fortunate as to sprinkle such holy water in his head? Is it because he was the grandson of Lord's greatest devotee, Prahlada, who imbibed divine knowledge even as he was in his mother's womb? Yes, it should be. As a result, had Mahabali become pure with no demonic qualities? Or had he become pure by conducting various sacrifices like Aswamedha? Or was it because of his intense devotion to and faith in the Brahmanas who restored him to life when killed by Indra in battle and enhanced his strength and splendor by performing austerities so as to conquer all the three worlds easily? Guruvayurappa, you are all-pervading and omnipotent. Maybe it is a combination of all of the above which made Mahabali so fortunate. You bestowed such a great fortune on the Asura king Bali, who worshipped you as a mere Brahmana by least realizing at first that you are the very Lord of the universe. Guruvayurappa, un tagudikku taalvaga irundhalum ennai kaapatra maataya. Won't you protect me? Born in the lineage of Brahmanas, I am ever engaged in your worship with unshakable devotion, fully aware that you are the Lord of the universe. Kindly release me from all sorrows and grant me final supreme blessedness. This is the prayer from Narayana Bhattadri to Guruvayurappan. We will see soon a lot more about this great avatara and Mahabali's fortune in the words of many acharyas. But here is something to carry on with you until we meet again. Bhavishya Purana tells Vāmana was born on Bhadrapada Ekadashi in Shravana Nakshatra, while Srimad Bhagavatam attributes the Shukla Dwadashi of Bhadrapada on Shravana. Shravana, known as Shronam, historically became known as Shonam and then became Onam in modern days. Skanda, Matsya, Bhagavata, Brahmanda, Vāmana Purānās also describe Vāmana, Vishnu's Vishwarupa Trivikrama form in detail. Most of the Purānās narrate that the Trivikrama Swarupam of Vāmana disappeared after sending Mahabali to Sutala. Although Guru Shukracharya warned about Mahavishnu's intentions, Grandfather Prahlada also did. As per some texts, Mahabali went on to agree to the request of Vāmana. Many scriptures have recounted Mahabali's Vishnu Stuti. However, Bhagavata Purana and Skanda Purana refer to Garuda taking Mahabali to Sutala at the request of Vishnu. We will also see some of the historical context on celebrations in various regions on Mahabali more than Vāmana and the evolution of that festival, hopefully next week. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Narayanaya. Narayana, 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 Narayana. Narayana, 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 Narayana. Hare Krishna, Guruvayurappa.